Hello there. In this, I'll be showing you how to use Google Sheet in 10 minutes. As you know, Microsoft Office has become quite expensive for daily use, and many students who may not have access to Microsoft find it very difficult to do a lot of things, and that is where we have Google Sheet rather, to meet all our needs. So, what is Google Sheet? It is a spreadsheet. You can say it's a workbook that allows the flexibility for customization, and it also gives you an opportunity to put into view many things, including your schedules, your planners, your finances, your time management, your assessment. You can literally do so many things with Google Sheets, and I think you'll find this particular video from Aspayastudenthub very helpful. To get started, the first thing that I want to talk to you about is the different sections or the different features of Google Sheets. Consider Google Sheet like a notebook. So the app is a notebook, but on that notebook you can have 40 pages, 50 pages, or 20 pages of the notebook, right? So that is the same logic that that is applied to Google Sheet. Your Google Sheet is your notebook, it's your workbook, and in this workbook you can have as many sheets as you want, and you can also customize them by giving them a name and color. This here is my workbook area, or it is my worksheet area. In at the bottom bar is my sheets, that is the pages on my particular workbook. This one says sheet 1. If you click on the plus, it says sheet 2. If you click on the plus, it says sheet 3, and so on and so forth. And I can also name my sheet by right clicking on that, and I would rename it as I would say monthly subscriptions, and I would call this one monthly financials, and I may call this one schedule, say weekly schedule for instance, right? And I can also customize them by colors. I can change this color to red. I can change that color to, my favorite color is black, but I think I want to use obvious color so you can notice the difference and the changes. And I'll change that one to say sharp yellow. Not only that, every time you right click on your sheet, you can protect your sheet so that only you can view your sheet, and you can hide the sheet as well. You can also copy the sheet to a new spreadsheet or an existing spreadsheet. You can also duplicate. If you duplicate, it will say copy, and then you can rename by just renaming that if that's what you want to do. And you can, of course, delete your sheet. It's a good thing that it tells you, it gives you a warning before you delete, just in case you're trying to delete by mistake. Now let's go to the top menu bar. On the top menu bar, you can rename your sheets. I would say internal personal record, whatever you want to name it, and you can actually import documents onto your sheet. You can also share them with your family, relative, or friends. Now, about sharing, the interesting thing about Google Sheet is you can actually share a specific sheet, and you can also restrict view to a specific cell range, and we're going to get to that in just a moment. You can email your sheet, you can download your sheet in Excel form or PDF. You can also rename, like I told you about. You can delete or move to bin. It will be there for 30 days and it will be permanently deleted. and you can make it available offline, which means you can access your spreadsheet even without an internet connection. Now, the next thing that you want to talk about is the edit. Yes, you can cut, you can copy, you can paste, and you can also use the view to see your sheet in a specific way, like the formula in your sheet or a specific range. You can also freeze them. So freezing is where you have to put onto a stagnant view, or a static view, some part of your sheets. It might be your rows or your column, but we're going to get to that in just a moment. And insert is just a very important and useful features because you can add image, you can draw, you can also do your pivot table. We're going to be covering aspects of this in our later videos, so this is just to quickly guide you on how to use Google Sheet in 10 minutes, and I hope I'm not exceeding that already. Now, feel free to go through the remaining tabs on your menu bar, and I would obviously cover them in our future videos, but let's get right onto it. Suppose I wanted to create my list of my monthly subscription to see how much actually I spend in a subscription every month. I will start by saying my date, and I will say amount, and I will give it category, and I will say person, and that will be it. And then I would say maybe I could also say occurrence or frequency, and I could say frequency. So for the date, this would be, for instance, the day that you pay that subscription, or before that we can actually say item. Suppose I have Netflix today. I do have Netflix. I'm going to be increasing the font size so you can see, and I would also be deleting some of these notifications. So suppose I have Netflix and I have Iroko TV, and then I have like maybe podcast, and maybe I subscribe to YouTube Premium, and so on and so forth. If your content is overlaying on the others column, you can double click on that, and that gives it a fixed margin. Now I would like to move my amount before the date. I'm just going to drag, so you can actually drag and drop it. You just highlight it, make sure your mouse is hovering over the header, and then you just move it around. So the amount, I like it to be in pounds. So I'll say maybe I pay $10.99 for that, and maybe I pay $11.99 for that, and maybe I pay $5.99 for that, and maybe I pay $6.99 for that. But I wanted to show the currencies. I'm going to highlight everything. I'm going to go to format, I'm going to go to number, and I'm going to go to currency. It's in pound, but I also have currency in naira as well, which is right at the bottom. Actually, oh yeah, I don't have it here, but I can custom my currency by doing that, and I can go to Nigerian naira and I can apply. But I want it to be in pounds, so I'm just going to go to that, and I'm going to make sure it is in pound. Now you can increase your decimal place, or you can reduce it. Normally it's good to have 2 decimal places. And then I go on to the category to say where does this fall into. So this would be entertainment as well. I could say this is schoolwork, and I could say this is learning. Now if you know your categories, you can actually put them into format, and so you can validate them. What does that mean? So that you don't have to type them every time. You can just click and and just insert. So I'm going to highlight everything. I'm going to go to data, and I'll go to data validation. I'm going to go to a list of items, and I'm going to put in the items for my categories. So I'll say entertainment, I'll say school, I will say learning, I could say personal, I could say family, I could say email, and so on and so forth. And I could say to be confirmed, TBC, or not applicable, NA. So now you see you have that, you can always do your drop down. Suppose I delete all of this now, I could just click on the drop down and I'll just give it my category as the case may be. Now, when is this date? Is this due? So I'm going to say due payment due date. Payment due date. So payment due date, it's going to be in day, month, and year, but you can do day and month because then that's it's a subscription. So the payment could be monthly, yearly, and so on and so forth. So I could say here that this is the 26th of October. But how about next month? Would you say 26th of November? No. So what I would do is I would add another column and I would say payment due month. And here I could just go onto the internet and I'm going to Google and I'm going to type month of the year. Then I'm going to come here and I'm just going to copy everything here. Again, I'm going to give it a validation as well. So I just click and drop. I'm going to click on data validation. I'm going to come to a list of items and I'm going to paste. They have to be comma. You have to just have the item or the content, then comma, the next one, then comma, the next one. If you don't do that, it's going to come as, so suppose I don't put comma between November and December and I click on OK. If I click on that, you see that November and December comes about the same item and that's not what we want. So we're just going to go back to the validation and we're just going to put a comma between November and December. So now that we have that, we can just say, okay, this is due in February. This is due in July, this is due in that. So that's something that might really interest you as well if you wanted to do that. But in this case, it wouldn't be exactly what we need because we pay every month. So even if we put February now, how about next month? It's going to be June. So instead I would say subscription started date. Subscription start date. So when you've got the subscription in the first month, or say that if I wanted to do that, and I can say so month. But again, does this really make sense? No, it doesn't really make sense to me because then how about the day and the year? Maybe I got it September 2019 or September 2018. So the point I'm trying to make here is you really have to be intentional and very thoughtful about what you want to do with Excel, what you want to do with your spreadsheet, what you want to do with Google Sheets in order for you to really make a good use of it. And it's good to also practice because practice, say, makes perfect. I don't see this becoming very useful for this particular situation. So I could just delete it by highlighting everything and I'm just going to right click and I'm just going to delete. But I want to know exactly when I actually got this particular subscription started. So I could say subscription started, and here I could say it started on the 31st of July 2019. So now it makes sense, but again, it's not giving us exactly what we have in view. So I'm going to go back to format. I'll go back to number. You have to see dates. So that comes up. So then I would say 12th of that 2020, and I would say here 10th of March 2017 or 2016. So it's just put in whatever you want to put in there. And that is the day I started the subscription. So when is it due? It is due on the 26th of October. So I could say 26th payment due date. I could say the 26th of every month. I could say here the 31st of every month, the 27th of every month, or I could say the 12th of every month. Now, how about the occurrence? So is it monthly, yearly? So it's going to be monthly, yearly, weekly. So I'm going to just come back here. I'll do my data validation. I'll click on my data validation and I'm going to put here daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly. So remember, there have to be commas between them. Now I'm going to come here, I'm going to say it's monthly. So 26th of every month, 31st of every month, 27th of every month, and 12th of every month. So that makes sense now, isn't it? And then I'm going to say person, like who do you pay this to? I'm going to say pay to organization, pay to company, or pay to family, friends. I'm going to put list of items. I'll say company, friend, family, colleague. So I'm gonna say, yeah, this is the company, or a friend if you wanted. Maybe you and your friend, you have the same subscription, so you put money together. So that might be something that you want to do, say colleague, stuff like that, right? So what next can you do in this particular task or activity or project? Well, we can also say your payment method. So say your payment method. So I'm going to give it a payment method, and I would say my payment method is maybe bank payment or bank deposit or card payments. I'm going to say card payment. I would say bank deposit, to be confirmed, not applicable. Or say cash, comma. Now I say okay, so now I can again say okay, it's card payment, bank deposit, cash. It could also be direct debit, so I'm going to just highlight that again. You can just do it's Ctrl Z, highlight that again, go back to validation, and I'm just going to add direct debit, which is where they take the money directly from your bank account. And right, so I'm going to say direct debit. Now, if you have multiple bank cards, you can also want to say what bank is that. So you can just give it another column and then, right click on the column before that. Then insert another column to the left or the right, and you can just add that there. Now, frequency. I was thinking when I was writing frequency, I was thinking about the frequency of payment. Is it once a month? Is it twice a month? Is it 3 times a month or something like that? But I don't really think that that's relevant in this particular instance. So I'm just going to delete that, and I will just go delete that. Now, I think this kind of give you an overview of how you can actually personalize your sheet. But notice that there's excessive extra pages that we do not use or we do not need. So we want to delete all of these pages so that everything is in view. Well, there are several ways you can do that, but the fastest way to do that is just to highlight everything. So you just highlight from J to the last, and then you just press your right click and you just delete. So that comes in view. But also we have an enormous amount of rows. You want to delete that as well. You can just highlight on it, so you can just say so I'll say 10. So you just do your shift command in Mac. If you're using a Mac, shift command, or if you're using a Windows, you just have to press shift control and press the down arrow key, and you can delete everything, and that is your file in view. Now, if you wanted to add 10, you can add 10. That kind of multiplies your rows and your column. And if you're wondering what's different between rows and columns, so your spreadsheet, whether Excel or Google Sheet, is made of rows and columns. The alphabet here, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, they are your columns, and your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on and so forth are your rows. Now, the point of intersection between your columns and your row is called your cell ID. So here that I've clicked, this is cell E11. And how do I know that? Because this is where column E meets cell 11. Column E meets row 11, so this is E11. So this right here, which I've just highlighted, would be I16, the point of intersection between your column and your row. So that's more of what I wanted you to know about creating your Excel spreadsheet using Google Sheet. Before you go, I may want to add one or two, and I know I was supposed to do this in 10 minutes, but I think you'll find it very useful. I'm trying to make them in chunks, like brief, so that you can actually flow. But ask me the question in the comment section, and I'll be happy to answer them. Or if you need me to make a demo of a specific area or a specific function of Excel, please let me know in the comment section, and I will be happy to do that. And when I say Excel, I mean Excel and Google Sheets put together. Now that you have, maybe you want to find the total of your monthly spending every month. You can just say, that's why you have to use your functions of Excel, which again you can use on Google Sheet. You can say equal to sum, open bracket, close bracket, highlight everything. Now the area that I've highlighted is called your cell range, because remember we said the point of intersection between your column and your row is your cell ID, also known as your cell. And if you collect or copy a list of cells, that will be your cell range. And if you just click on enter, you see that you're spending £35.96 every month for your subscription alone. Now I'm going to stop here, but in the next video I will be showing you more about how to use the different functions of Excel in Google Sheets, including your sum. I'll be teaching you about the operators, and I'll be teaching you about some advanced feature of using Google Sheets very, very well for you and for your personal development. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget that this video is brought to you by Aspayastudenthub. We have a Facebook community where we network, learn, teach, inspire, and grow, and we are over 12,000 members there. Would you mind to spread the word and tell your friends? And don't forget, you also need to join, because in the end, you matter. Take care and bye for now.